Hi, my name is Jenna. I am a homeschooling mom to 3, soon to be 4, and today we are going to be talking about how to stay sane while homeschooling. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to say on how to stay sane while homeschooling is that it definitely does get easier. The longer that you do it, you develop a routine and your kids know what's expected of them and there's less pushback. So if you are new to this and you are struggling, sorry, there's noise out there, and you are struggling, just know that it will get easier. The more you kind of establish these routines and these expectations for your kids, they will start to do things more automatically, and it won't always be you having to tell them every single little thing and it just becoming really frustrating. So know that the more you do this, the easier it will get. So don't feel like, just giving up, because I definitely felt like that and did do that a couple of times. And I think looking back, if I would have just stuck it out, I would have definitely seen that it did get easier and it wasn't always such a struggle. So getting into the tips, the top 3 tips that I have that help me kind of stay sane when you are home with your kids all day long and trying to get them to be productive, educated human beings. So the first one is exercise. It just changes my mood completely if I exercise regularly. I'm much more able to deal with stress and just being more patient with my kids when I am exercising, and it just gives me more energy too. I especially notice that right now when I'm pregnant, if I go more than probably like 2 or 3 days without exercising, I have like zero energy. Like I cannot like get all of the things done during the day that I need to get done if I'm not exercising. So make sure that you are trying to fit that in your schedule, and schedule it just like you would anything else. Like write it in your planner. This has helped me a lot. Write down the workout that you plan to do, the day that you plan to do it, and just do it on autopilot. Like don't give yourself the opportunity to think about it and put it off, because you probably will, because there's a million other things that you could be doing. But it will really help you just to have the patience you need to have in your homeschool day if you exercise regularly. Number 2, well, not number 2, but the second part of that is to eat well. It's really easy to just kind of rely on convenience food or whatever is like laying around. But if you make sure that you have kind of established some sort of regular healthy meals, especially higher in protein, I find that helps a lot too. It just helps your mood basically, because you're not going to be on that like sugar roller coaster, or you're not going to be like starving all the time. Just making sure that you are eating healthy meals is going to give you the energy, and it's also just going to help you kind of like stabilize your mood and your blood sugar during the day. The third part of that is sleep. So as easy as it can be sometimes to want to stay up late because the house is finally quiet and everyone's in bed, just making sure that you go to bed as early as you reasonably can so that you can get up in the morning and get a head start on your day before everyone is awake. That helps tremendously. So making sure that you are rested and that also you don't get up when the kids get up is huge. That obviously can change if you have a newborn. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do because you're not really sleeping. But in general, if you can get up before the kids to at least get a couple of things done that you need to get done for yourself, be it exercise or getting dressed for the day or whatever, it helps a ton if you are not immediately getting up and being needed by several people. And then the last one is getting dressed for the day. So it can also be really easy if you are a stay-at-home mom to just want to stay in sweats or whatever all day, but it really changes your mood and just your level of productivity if you get dressed. And I'm not talking about like, glammed up or anything. Obviously, this is what I mean by getting ready. It's like 5 minutes of makeup and some dry shampoo in my hair. It's nothing like, but it's going to change my mood a lot than if I just rolled out of bed and was like, let me put on some sweatpants. So those things, exercise, eat well, especially protein, like balanced meals, making sure that you are getting sleep, and getting dressed for the day will definitely just help you kind of feel like a human being when you're, home all day long with small people. Okay, and the second one is to have a schedule. So even though we don't do like a strict, like this is what happens at 9 a.m., this is what happens at 10 a.m., we kind of have a flow to our day. I like to write out what that flow is and what the expectations are and post it somewhere. So if your kids aren't old enough to be able to read, I use pictures. So I do this with their chore charts and things like that when they are not able to read yet. It just helps them to not be constantly asking you what they're supposed to be doing or what they're expected to do or what they have to do before they can go play or whatever. Especially the more kids you have, it's like you really don't need like 3 people asking you questions all at the same time. It's just like, it gets extremely frustrating. So everyone, like, it's posted, everyone knows this is what our school day is going to look like. This is the order that we're going to do things. This is when snack time is. This is what your chore is for today. These are the things that you're expected to do in the morning before you sit down for breakfast, and so on. It will help tremendously with you not being constantly bombarded with questions when everyone is clear about their expectations and what is going to happen that day. Okay, and then the third thing is to have reasonable expectations. So it's much different. When you are homeschooling, it is a job. And I don't mean that in like a sense of like, it feels like a job. I mean, it's a job in the sense of like, it's going to take up a decent amount of your day. Definitely not as long as it would if they were in traditional public school, but you can't expect to get the same amount of things done in a day if prior to homeschooling that you will while you're homeschooling, because it just takes up time. So don't expect to be able to, homeschool and get all of these errands and all of this cleaning and all these other things done that you maybe could have in the past, because homeschooling takes, the priority of this needs to be done first before I can go do all my other things. So just, that was another frustration for me too, because when my kids were either young enough that I could just kind of like bring them along or have them do whatever while I got things done, it was definitely a big shift when I was then responsible for, 4+ hours of the day, just schooling. I just was not able to get the same amount of stuff done. But also on that note, if your kids are old enough to be, homeschooled, they are also old enough to help out. And that was another mistake that I made. So don't expect to do all the schooling and then also be doing all of their stuff for them like you may have done before. Because when they were in public school, it's like they don't really have that much time. So you're not really going to expect them to come home and do a bunch of chores, or at least I felt like I couldn't. But now that they're home, it's like they each have a chore that they have to do before they can go play. And it's stuff that, like figure out what you can make them do that's appropriate for their age level that will actually help you out. So hopefully that's helpful. And so those are my top 3 things. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because it's really hard to be patient and to have to take care of everyone else if you're not like making sure your health is taken care of and that you have the maximum amount of energy and patience for your day. Number 2 is to write out the schedule, or at least the flow of your day, so that everyone knows what's expected of them. And number 3 is to have reasonable expectations for the amount of things that you are going to get done when you are homeschooling during the day. So hopefully that will help you out somewhat and encourage you to just stick with it. And the longer that you stay with these routines, the easier it will get. And they will just kind of start to do some of these things on their own eventually. And it will definitely take a lot of that burden off of you. So I will see you guys in our next homeschool video. Bye.